Hi everyone, I am Niva Shah, and today we will be learning about the symbols of Lord Shiva while we build a picture of him, kind of like a puzzle. Before we get into the different symbols of Lord Shiva, let's quickly talk about what he represents as a whole. Lord Shiva, also known as Mahadev, is one of the principal deities of Hinduism. He is also known as the destroyer within the Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. His role in the universe is to destroy everything in order to recreate it. He ends the cycle of time and creates a new one. We're in a cycle of time right now, you know. His whole body is smeared in ashes. Ashes represent death, so because he is smeared in ashes, it shows that death is the ultimate reality of life. It also shows that Lord Shiva is above birth and death, which makes sense because he's a god. Also, why am I using a galaxy or space background, you ask? Lord Shiva is the god of the universe, or Vishwanath. Yes, the entire universe, not just our galaxy or Earth, the entire universe. Okay, so now we covered some information about Lord Shiva, so now it's time to start building a picture of him while we learn about his symbols. Whoa, that swirly thing was cool. First up is the Trishul. The Trishul, or trident, is an accessory of Lord Shiva and it has 3 spikes. These represent 3 of Shiva's powers: his Ichcha, which is his will to do things, his Kriya, the actual actions he does, and his Gyan, which is his knowledge. He uses these 3 powers to destroy evil and ignorance, and he punishes the evildoer's spiritual, subtle, and physical sides with these 3 spikes and powers. Now, we have Nandi, Lord Shiva's bull. Nandi is said to be Lord Shiva's vehicle, and bulls in general represent both power and ignorance. So, Lord Shiva riding the bull shows how he removes the ignorance of those who worship him and gives them the power of wisdom. Fun fact, in Sanskrit, the bull also symbolizes righteousness, so this can also show Lord Shiva's righteousness. We just added Kamandalu to the photo. It is Lord Shiva's water pot, and it is said to be made out of a dry pumpkin. I know I said water pot, but Lord Shiva's Kamandalu has an amrit, or nectar, in it. Did you know that some yogis or sages also carry Kamandalus around? It's a very essential item for them. Lord Shiva having one of these so shows his yogic and sage-like side. Here we're going to do 2 of Lord Shiva's symbols. The first one are his kundalas, or earrings. If you look on the photo, you can see he has 2 of them. One is called Alakshya and the other is called Niranjan. They represent the fact that Lord Shiva is way beyond ordinary, or our perception. You know, you don't really pass Lord Shiva on the street every day when you go for a walk. You can't see him. It's also kind of cool that one of his earrings are what is typically worn by females, and the other is what is typically worn by males, showing that Lord Shiva has both masculine and feminine qualities. The second one we're going to talk about here is Vasuki, or Lord Shiva's snake. It doesn't show it here, but Vasuki actually has 1,000 heads. Quite a lot if you ask me. Also, if you notice, you can see that the snake is coiled not 1, not 2, but 3 times around Lord Shiva's neck. The coils represent the past, present, and future. And it being around Shiva's neck shows that he has the control over time. Okay, I'm really loving the swirly thing, are you? Anyway, now we have the crescent moon. Lord Shiva is sometimes called the Chandrasekhar because he has a crescent moon on his head's right side, meaning our left side. This moon is actually in its 5th phase of the moon cycle, and that symbolizes the time cycle where all creation, animals, plants, everything living, evolves from beginning to the end of their life. Because the crescent represents time and it is over Lord Shiva's head, it shows his control over time. Lord Shiva himself is the eternal reality, so he is beyond time, which is why he can control it. Okay, so remember how I said Lord Shiva has both masculine and feminine traits? So the feminine side is commonly called Shakti, the goddess of power and force, and the masculine part is called Lord Shiva. Know that both sides together are also called Lord Shiva though. the tiger is the vehicle of Shakti. Lord Shiva, here I'm talking about both sides, is above all forces. After all, he is force, since the power from Shakti resides in him. Therefore, him sitting on and wearing the tiger skin shows that he is above the force, and no matter what you do, you will always lose in a battle with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is almost always seen wearing a Rudraksh necklace, which is the next piece of the photo. Look closely and you can see the really long looking necklace that he's wearing. This necklace is pretty long. It has 108 beads. These 108 beads represent the elements used for the creation of the world. Rudra means strict and Aksha means eye, so Rudraksh means Lord Shiva is strict about his laws about the universe, and firmly he maintains law and order. Now we're going to do two of them at the same time again. First, you'll need to look a bit closer to see this, but see the dark vertical line-like thing on Lord Shiva's forehead? That's not a line, that's his third eye. I'm pretty sure all of you watching this video and I only have two eyes. So what does this third eye mean? It stands for spiritual knowledge and power, so it is called the eye of wisdom or the eye of knowledge. His third eye also represents fire. Because it represents fire, Lord Shiva's third eye can look for anything evil, and when Lord Shiva opens his eye, it can destroy that evil. That's why all the evildoers in this world fear his third eye. The second symbol we're going to talk about here is the three white lines on Lord Shiva's forehead. They are called vibhuti and are made of ashes. You may see some people wearing these, and it is most likely because they are wearing it to honor Lord Shiva. It signifies the immortality of Lord Shiva and his glory. The Shivling is a complete representation of the formless universe. It has two parts. See the dome-like stone? There is also a base under that dome-like stone, and look closely and you'll be able to see it. The dome-like stone is a symbol of the universe, and the base represents the supreme power that holds the universe together. The next object is the Damru. Although you can't see it very well in this picture, there are two sides to it. The Damru is basically a drum that you shake instead of hit. You know those toy drums that have a little ball at the end of it and make a sound when you shake it? Yeah, it's kind of like these. When Lord Shiva shakes his Damru, it makes the Om sound. Om. Sort of like that, but it's much more cosmic-y and cool. This sound is considered the source of creation, or where everything comes from, which is why it's a very important symbol of Lord Shiva. This is a cool one. So, Lord Shiva's eyes are half open. Why? Well, when Lord Shiva fully closes his eyes, it begins the destruction of the universe for the next creation cycle. That means when he fully opens his eyes, a whole new cycle of creation begins. His eyes are half open, so that means that the cycle of creation that we are in will never end and had no beginning. Think about it. There have been many generations before us, and in the future, there will be many generations after us, showing that this cycle of creation will technically never end. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the river Ganga, and maybe you've been there in India. According to Hindu legend, Ganga originated from Lord Shiva's matted hair. This origin is shown in pictures with Ganga sprouting out of Lord Shiva's head and falling onto the ground. Because of this, Lord Shiva is also sometimes called Gangadhar, which means bearer of the river Ganga. This also represents fertility and purity, meaning that Lord Shiva isn't just the Lord of Destruction, he is also the giver of knowledge and purity and many more other things. Lord Shiva's jata, or matted hair, represents how Lord Shiva is also the Lord of the wind, and wind is sort of the breaths that all animals take, meaning Lord Shiva is the Lord of all beings, also known as Pashupatinath. You're probably thinking right now, Lord Shiva has quite a lot of symbols and meanings. I can tell you I'm thinking that right now too, but the last one we're going to talk about today is Mount Kailash, which is one of the mountains in the background of this picture. Mount Kailash is part of the Himalayan mountain range, and it is said to be Lord Shiva's traditional abode. Mount Kailash symbolically represents the center of the universe, and Lord Shiva is also the Lord of Mount Kailash, or Kailashtipati. And that is it for the picture. Congrats, we learned all about Lord Shiva's symbols while building a picture of him. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.